right, here you go, Paul. Yeah. Just come around. All right, so describe how the German people's trust with the Weimar Republic collapsed after the Great Depression. Oh, geez, see? In the United States. Detail the events that led to the fall of the Weimar Republic. So we finished up World War I, that chapter. Okay, we finished up that chapter here with the effects of World War I leading up right into World War II. And we talked about the Weimar Republic. We mentioned about how this representative democracy tried its best. But once this depression hit the United States, well, it hit everything. A lot of stuff.
Oh my God,
Yeah. We got a piece of paper here. Oh.
That's not my notebook.
You got a piece of paper.
Just don't grab the wrong black notebook. Just don't grab the wrong black notebook. That hard.
Recording John too. Talk about the experience. Talk about his client. The great gentleman.
This video is sponsored by NordVPN. Welcome to watch this. It's the other reason you put the recording on.
Probably.
Wait, no, it's the government.
Your events for Thursday for next week, Bigger Friday. I'm going on a cruise, I was invited. Pretty pumped for it. Cool.
So you're dipping out the end of this week and the end of next week?
Whoa. Don't
Oh,
tell me. Going on a cruise, I was invited.
Oh,
You were invited.
yeah, I'm sure.
Look at me, you did. Hey, thanks, Parker. Appreciate it.
But they started making fun of you and I defended you. Watch the video.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I defended you. Watch the video.
What was said?
I don't know.
I was making fun of Connor because,
Yeah, but
believe it or not,
Connor.
that was a not prepared speech. It was prepared.
Sounded pretty good.
It sounded pretty good, Connor. Yeah, he didn't even look at the iPad. It was down like twice.
Well, yeah, I mean,
But
again, that's how it was prepared enough that I knew what I was doing.
All right. Hey, we are recording, so if there's anybody trying to crush me out here.
Tape, though.
Oh, all right. Is that it?
Yeah.
Sure. This is hot coffee. I can throw this pretty far.
Go ahead.
Whoa,
That's enjoyable for us.
Yeah, it would be enjoyable for all of us to watch you. Oh,
Exactly.
no.
You don't get to join. I'd block it. Why?
No, he must have fixed it during Discovery or lunch or something. Yeah, I was surprised to see it too.
Connor sabotaged it.
Shh, quiet. Okay, here we go. We ended up World War I chapter with the fall of the Weimar Republic. Well, leading to it, right? Okay, we'll talk about more when we get into the rise of dictators here and how Hitler really unveils his master plan to really lead this charge of the Nazi Party to take over in Germany after World War I here, obviously in the 1920s, 1930s. So with that, okay, so Hitler did try to overthrow the Weimar Republic early on in its, as you say, its reign, right? So with the Weimar Republic starting right after World War I, okay, Kaiser Wilhelm II was exiled to where? You guys remember? Where's he exiled to? Oz. The Netherlands, yeah, so it's not too far away. But in any case, right?
Exile.
He was taken away.
He kind of left.
He was taken away,
He
all
went to Belgium.
It's his own land, it's his own property. So, in other words, he just went and resided in
Yeah,
his
he
own
went to
property.
Belgium and then they lost the war. So then he went to Netherlands. Gonna go south.
Hey, Kassir, thanks. I want to just get going here, okay? Appreciate it. You got to vote. You have to do an election today, so let's get to it, okay? All right, so anyway, with Kaiser Wilhelm II, okay, he is taken out of Germany. The Allied powers are not going to allow him to stay in charge, so he's taken away. And with that, the Weimar Republic Okay, it really took a lot of time for it to gain any traction with the people. And the reason for it, again, because of the Treaty of, what treaty was it that was really trying to kick Germany while it's down, Connor? Yeah, good job, the Treaty of Versailles. We mentioned about the harsh penalties, punishments of the Treaty of Versailles, which is going to only anger the German people to build up resentment even more for the Allied powers. But that won't happen until after this depression. Okay, we talked about Stresemann and how Germany, under the Dawes plan here, actually started to see this rebuilding process, following through with the Treaty of Versailles, penalties or punishments, paying back the reparations, and eventually being allowed to have a seat at the table with the League of Nations. Yep, good job. So we talked about that Kellogg Grand Pact and how Germany is finally recognized with the other international, the international organization with these European powers. So things were looking good, right? I wanted to note with Hitler, okay, he started his push really in the early 1920s after World War I. Okay, he actually tried to overthrow the Weimar Republic because they were doing what? They were bending the knee to the Allied powers. They were going along with the Treaty of Versailles. And if you're a strong German nationalist, you're seeing this happen. Does your government look very strong? Does it look like it's trying to achieve a world power level again? No, right? So with that, he was angry. And he led this push, this movement to try to overthrow the Weimar Republic. And he was placed in jail. It failed. It didn't work out for him. So with that, you can see kind of the sounds of this nationalist movement building up in Germany already. And, well, it was put down. Okay, Hitler was placed in jail. And today we'll talk a little bit about what he did while he was in jail. He wrote a book. Anybody know the book? Anybody have a name? Go ahead, Austin. Mein Kampf, which means? Chris, My Struggle. Yeah, good job. So within jail, he wrote this book, My Struggle, Mein Kampf. And he detailed about who's to blame for the issues in Germany after World War I, how the Allied powers, the Jews, right, were to blame. And his plan was already kind of nailing at the very beginning. So with this book, he talked about how he's going to try to build back German nationalism, build back Germany to become a world power. And as you know here, as you can imagine, as things start to go downhill for the Weimar Republic with that depression, well, people started to see it and say, hey, yeah, these are pretty good, ideal intentions. He wants to try to build Germany back to becoming a world power, build back their military, claim back the land that they lost after World War I. So as the people are going through this depression, these hardships, they view his intentions, they view his ideas and say, yeah, let's kind of go along with it. You hit rock bottom, actually below rock bottom. Okay, when it comes to this hyperinflation, when it comes to this depression. So maybe we can look at a new leader, a new party that's going to bring back this German nationalism. All right, so we talked about Weimar Republic's solution here to this depression that hit all across the world, not just in the United States. Again, the Dawes Plan, that was set up for the U.S. to be the foundation for rebuilding all of Europe and really the rest of the world. And once that depression hits hard in the United States, Germany really faces the punishments because they still have to pay back the reparations. So what does the Weimar Republic do? What do they do? Connor, print more money. Yes, good job. If people have more money in their pocket, chances are they're going to be a lot happier, right? Well, what happens to the value of that dollar? What? It drops really dramatic, right? It comes to a point where one US dollar was related to 4.2 trillion marks, which is ridiculous. That's why these people are walking down the streets with wheelbarrows full of money, because that cash is really worth nothing. Okay, I showed you the pictures of the people putting up wallpaper with cash. It looks like they're loaded. In all reality, they're very, very, very poor. And with all the money out in circulation, it's worth value to nothing, really. So with that, this is leading to what? People to accept these nationalistic viewpoints. People to accept people like Hitler rising to power, speaking to their wants, their needs, their desires. And as these people are in fear of what the future might hold, okay, they start to actually lean into his movement, lean into what he has to offer. So that's where we're at, okay? That's where we're at. All right, so with that, we also talked about one leader that was elected president of the Weimar Republic of Germany. What was that guy's name? It was one of the last terms he had for the last chapter. Okay, the bridging over to this chapter here. Matt, No, not Stressman here. Someone right after him. He was a famed military general of World War I of Germany. Connor? Yes, good job. Paul von Hindenburg. That's where we left off. Okay. So with this election. All right. So here are some terms. I just want to put these terms out for you so you know where we're leading, where we're going. And since I'll be out for a little bit here, okay. I'm sorry there might be a little bit of a break, but we will get back to it. I promise. All right, so some of these terms are review. So the Weimar Republic, we already know. That was a term that we already had. Oh, if only you had your binder, you know. Paul von Hindenburg, right? That one leader of Germany here. We just talked about him, a famed military general of World War I. He was popular, he was famous amongst the people in Germany, right? Okay, we talked about how, right, he was going to try to build structured stability for Germany going through these tough times. Okay, like I mentioned, he's kind of relatable to George Washington in a way, just because of how popular and famous he was. And so as he's becoming president, okay, a lot of people back then, he wanted to try to avoid war at all costs. That was the goal. That was the idea. All right, Adolf Hitler, that's heard of him before. And we're talking right now about his initial rise. So yeah, he tried to overthrow the Weimar Republic in the early 1920s. It failed. Thrown in jail. Oh no, thrown in jail. Straight to jail. And then he writes a book, Mein Kampf, My Struggle, where he will try to build up the trust of the German people and try to inspire nationalism to bring Germany back to where it once was. At the same time, targeting the enemies, the villains of the country. All right, then you have the Nazi Party. So I already gave you a little bit there. There you go. At the start of this chapter here, I like to do a little simulation to see who you vote for, see who you elect. You got to remember about Germany, what they're going through now during these tough times after World War I. So give you some time working on these terms. There you go. Partners, yeah. You get a red binder. Oh.
I think 30,000.
Thank you. All right, so these terms here, okay, some of them are review. We just talked quite a bit about that already. But like I mentioned, one thing I want you to know here with the Weimar Republic, as they're just kind of starting off right after World War One, Hitler was trying to take power already, right? And he tried to lead this movement to try to overthrow the Weimar Republic, and it failed. And he was placed in jail. So what was that book he wrote while he was in jail? What was that called again? It's up there. Connor. Mein Kampf, good job. Which means, what does it mean? My struggle. Yep. So if you want to put in parentheses my Mein Kampf, just put my struggle. Okay. And that's what Hitler detailed about, right? How the Allied powers were to blame, the Jews were to blame, the communists were to blame for the issues of Germany after World War One, and how he's going to try to build German nationalism back up. Right. So this book, it was really detailing about a lot of that, and how, right, the Nazi party here is going to try to lead Germany back to its world power level. All right, so with that here, the Nazi party, okay, they're gaining a lot of movement, okay, a lot of traction, especially as the Weimar Republic struggling after that depression. That it's hard, in Germany, especially after this depression in the United States. So with the Weimar Republic just printing out money left and right, it shows that it's very weak. And the people start to lose trust within the Weimar Republic after this depression. It's like, oh, you just can't print money out, right? That's not going to solve the solutions. That's not going to be the solution here moving forward. Okay, we need to make sure that we can build a nationalistic entity back to Germany. Okay, we need to build back our military. We need to claim the lands that we lost after World War One, right? And that's what the people start to follow. So in a nutshell, that's how Hitler kind of gains the momentum, gains motivation here. Okay, and for the people, he's gaining a lot of popularity to a point where a lot of these Nazi members here of this political party start to gain a lot of seats in the German government. Okay, so we'll talk about the Reichstag here soon enough. We'll mention a lot about how Hitler eventually takes the status of dictator. Okay, that will come here soon enough. All right, okay, so I just wanted to introduce that, and today we're just going to move into our simulation here, our election. So I think it'll be fun. Real quick though, so we are starting a new chapter. As always, okay, I like to show you where you can find a lot of the material, a lot of the resources. So with modules, you can even click on chapter 7 on the home page. That's fine. Okay, World War II, as you can see. Once it loads, there you go. So right at the top, there is a title page here, chapter page. And it gives a little description, objectives, purpose of the chapter. Okay, here's the textbook chapters for the unit, as you can see attached. Okay, the presentations for the unit. All right, so there's 2 of them there. You can access them. I will be altering throughout this time. Okay, it's not going to be the same here as what you see, but eventually it will update. And then other resources. So if you want to, okay, here's a website that really dives deep into a lot of these interesting stories, primary resources of World War II. So if you want to do any further reading, there is a website that really details about that. We already went through some of these articles on this website with World War I, like the Lusitania, okay, that detailed event of the Lusitania. There's primary resources in a lot of these articles here. So check it out, okay, check it out. Throughout the course here of this chapter, right, there will be links to these readings, okay. I won't say for every single battle or every single event, but there will be in the future. So take some time, check it out on your own. I think it's a very good resource. All right, perfect. So here we go. Here we go. All right, so what I'd like you guys to do here is just think about the issues within Germany, okay? So the issues of Germany after World War I. Okay, think about the Weimar Republic. At first, people started to trust it. They're like, yeah, you know what? This democracy, it's working for the people, right? We're following along with the Treaty of Versailles. Things are going okay. Right. We also talked about how Germany was recognized finally in the late 1920s with the League of Nations. So this cooperation, these talks with, right, the Allied powers are starting to work out for Germany's favor. All right, but real quick, here's a simulation. I will put up a QR code. You'll have to scan it, and then you can vote, right, for whoever you think is the best candidate moving forward. And yes, this is simulating, which I'll get to, the 1932 election between 2 figures, which we'll talk about. I don't want to give it away. All right, so here you go. You're an ordinary citizen of Munchkin Land. You guys like the Wizard of Oz? Yeah? Okay. So anyway, here's the Wizard of Oz. You guys know it a little bit already. But your country was once one of the strongest nations in Oz. Okay. So, yeah, obviously Germany. But after a long war with the Wicked Witch of the East, the Munchkins were left powerless and your government broken. Oh, no. In your country, there's a loss of pride. And it looks like the economy is going to collapse. Darn it. And let's be honest, the ditzy blonde, Linda, is no help at all. Good Witch of the North, my foot. Okay, so here are your candidates. All right, so here it is, election time. There are 2 men running for mayor of Munchkin Land. You must choose between them. So mark your choice on the ballot, which I'll give it to you. It's a QR code. You'll just vote on a Google form, and I'll show you the results. Good stuff. All right, so be prepared to defend your choice. So here are your candidates. Candidate 1. Make sure you guys remember this. Pierre Hiddleston. All right, Hiddleston was the old leader. He is a wise and thoughtful man. In the original war, he was a great leader and a hero, but since that time, he has become a very mellow, diplomatic man. In other words, he lost his momentum. He lost his drive in a little bit, right? So a lot of the people, even other leaders, respect him. So that's good, right? When you compare it to other countries around the world, they're like, yeah, this guy, we know him, cool. He believes that the economy will improve, but that will take a lot of time, long time. He believes that almost anything is better than another war. All right, so peace, nice, cool. Hiddleston says that while other countries might treat the Munchkins unfair, boo-hoo, it is better to discuss the matter and resolve it with diplomacy. He says that if they antagonize the other countries, things will only get worse. Okay, all right, so there's Pierre Hiddleston. Right, Pierre Hiddleston. All right, so he has some experience, but he kind of lost his drive over this time. Right, he says peace over war. Great, good. Okay, there's Pierre. Don't give it away. All right, Albert Higginston. Okay, so Higgins fought in a war as a young soldier. All right, so he has some experience. He thinks that while Hiddleston used to be a good leader, he is losing his ability. He's becoming an old man, in other words. Higgins demands that Munchkin should aim to become strong as they once were. All right, cool. So some drive here, motivation for the people. Higgins is charismatic. Aw, girls faint when they see him. And a wonderful leader. People like what he says, and when he speaks, the countrymen feel their old pride once again. Nice. All right. Higgins believes that they need to make their country less dependent on trade in order to improve the economy. All right, so focusing internally rather than just dependent on the external forces and trade. He wants to try and stabilize the nation to decrease inflation. Okay, smart. And reduce unemployment by getting people back to work. Who can argue with that? All right, okay, so there are your two candidates. There are your two candidates. All right, so again, there you are walking down the street with a wheelbarrow full of money. Darn, just to buy a loaf of bread. Okay, at the same time, all the other countries are laughing at you, humiliating you. Oh, the treaty, right, of whatever war it was with the Munchkins, it really just abused, really pitted Munchkin land in a bad, bad state. So think of this, okay? So here you go. Here is your QR code. I'd like you to vote now for your leader, for your election.
We think Higgins was.
Up. Quiet. Don't say a word. Don't say a word. When you're going to vote, it is just you. All right. Don't you try to persuade someone. All you got to do is just select. All you got to do is select. No, just one. Just select one, not vote.
I can't select any, so I guess that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just select both of them.
Nope.
What number you want?
I'm trying to ruin that. All the time.
You like it, Joe? Like it,
That's why I select.
All right, quiet. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody that you voted or who you voted for. Okay.
I voted for this man.
I'm gonna wear my I vote. Do we get an I voted sticker?
All right, everybody vote. Go. Okay. Parker, you still have to vote yet?
Yeah, bro.
Oh, darn.
I can't vote.
Parker's not a required person.
Is he like an immigrant, non-American citizen?
Do you have your UGA?
No.
Do you have your citizenship in Africa?
Yeah. Do you have a citizenship?
Yeah, all right. Okay, here we go.
Let's go.
Red Scare. All right, let's see our results.
I voted for him.
All right, let's see where we're at. Okay. Oh boy. All right. So Albert Higginston. Okay. All right. So Higginston wins. Wow. Okay. So you guys want to bring back the Munchkin land to where it once was. You want to try to bring back employment here, get people jobs, great stuff, awesome stuff. Who voted for Higginston?
You put in vote. I couldn't.
Okay. All right. So Higginston wins, which you guys voted for Hitler. Oh my gosh. You guys voted for Hitler. How can you do so? How can you do so? Oh my gosh.
He's definitely gets the glaze down his right because they're the best time.
All right. So in Higginston, as you
Yo,
see here,
they-
this is how
When you fill the donuts,
this is how he rises to power. This is how he builds on the people's trust, right? He's promising people, hey, we get their jobs back. We can build Germany back to where it once was. We can try to build up our military. That goes totally against the Treaty of Versailles, but who cares? If it starts another war, so be it. You think the Allied powers are building up their militaries? No, they're not, because really they're restricted to. So with that, you can see how he built on the trust of the people, the popularity of the people, okay, as he's promising them so much. And we'll talk more how he does so, even more to an extreme. Okay. And with that, you can see how Higginston was favored by the German people through all these problems of the Depression, of hyperinflation, of the failures of the Weimar Republic. They wanted something new, right? They wanted something new. And you still have a lot of the people with their extreme ties to German nationalism, right? To try to build Germany back up to its national entity where it once was. So, in other words, do you blame the people for maybe initially voting for Hitler? I don't know. It's hard to do so. But with this simulation, you can see how a lot of people just vote for Higginston in this case, for Hitler, because he's promising so much. Eventually, yeah, you'll see his plan, oh boy, right, come out, and how he's targeting a lot of these villains of the German Empire, the German Third Reich. Okay, all right. Congratulations, you guys. I don't know, maybe looking ahead, you should really think about your decisions. Okay, just joking. All right, okay, good work. All right, is there any questions on the simulation on the election? No? Okay, all right, okay. There we go.